Good afternoon, welcome to Thrumall in Halifax for the Slam Lager Championship match between Halifax and Warrington. The two captains, Anderson and Kelly, have just tossed the coin and the match about to get underway. Halifax at the moment leading the Slam Lager Championship, Warrington in 5th position, and it will be Halifax to kick off. Ex-Wigan player Colin Whitfield will start the game. Halifax playing from left to right on your screens, playing in the blue and white stripes, Warrington in the white strip with a primrose and blue band. So Colin Whitfield gets this important match underway. Kick deep, picked up by Dave Allen. Allen charges in, 3 Halifax players bring him down. Warrington then in their own 25, Tony Hodgson's acting halfback, on to Tamati. Tamati's brought down and being pushed back by 2 Halifax forwards. Hodgson once more. This time it's Tony Worrell back into the Warrington first team. Once again, Hodgson's acting halfback. Back to Bishop. Bishop with the kick. And it was picked up by Wilf George. Comes inside, brought down just on the halfway line. Scott Wilson there, making a few yards. This time it's Stevens. Kicks, Johnson's underneath him, hangs in the wind, bounces awkwardly, and Johnson picks it up, beats one tackle, but finally brought down just short of his own 25. This time it's Tamati acting halfback. On to Dave Allen. Tony Hodgson once more. On to Ken Kelly. Tamati gets the ball away to Ken Kelly once more. Brought down on his own 25. Mark Knight on to Tony Worrell. This time it's Bishop, evades one tackle, a kick, charge down, and offside. Much to the disapproval of the Halifax fans, thinking it should be a free kick to Halifax, but it's a scrum down. But the referee gives a free kick to Warrington. Butting in the scrum. So the first free kick of the game going to Warrington. Bishop has the ball. And the kick. It's a good one. So Warrington on the halfway line. Ken Kelly takes the tap to Hodgson. Bishop. This time it's on to Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts charges in, clears the halfway line into Halifax territory. This time it's Kelly. Kelly coming back inside. Met by Stevens. Once again, Tony Hodgson on to Bishop. To Worrell. Worrell tries to break the tackles, makes a few yards before he's brought down. Tony Hodgson on to Dave Allen. Dave Allen though being pushed back in that tackle. Hodgson on to Bishop. Kelly to Mark Roberts. But Mark Roberts caught as soon as he gets the ball and being pushed back there by Chris Anderson. 6th tackle, Kelly to Bishop. Bishop with the kick over the head of Whitfield, and a beautiful kick there from Paul Bishop over the head of Colin Whitfield into touch. And that will result in a scrum down just outside the Halifax 25. Be fed by Gary Stevens, the Halifax scrum half. Feeds, and it's out on the Halifax side. Anderson on to Joe Kilroy. Kilroy across field, good tackle though by Johnson, then Ray Dwayne brings him down, but a nice play there from Joe Kilroy. Anderson on to Stevens, a long pass out this time, and Scott Wilson being brought down. Halifax then in the middle of the field, just inside their own half. Seamus McCallion sends it left. James. Stevens goes left. Kick through. And it's a good kick by Gary Stevens. Which results in a scrum down just outside the Warrington 25. Bishop feeds for Warrington. And a free kick to Halifax. Over comes Colin Whitfield from this right wing. And right-footed puts the ball into touch. So Halifax with a chance to open the scoring here. McCallion to take the tap. And a nice run there from Mick Scott. McCallion. And it's prop forward. Jeff Robinson just stopped short of the Warrington line. Halifax now pressing. Play back to Stevens, to Scott. Scott, and a chance there now for Neil James. And a great chance there, Kilroy coming up in attack, but a nice tackle. Warrington keeping Halifax out at the moment. McCallion, and a kick from Stevens. And Warrington in possession, over on that far wing. Halifax being pushed back. And in fact a scrum down. So a scrum down virtually on the Warrington line. Stevens feeds for Halifax. It's Halifax ball out to Anderson. Anderson onto Kilroy, but Kilroy can't take the pass. Luckily there, Halifax looking dangerous when Joe Kilroy, the fullback, comes up in attack. But that will be another scrum down. Bishop will feed for Warrington. Front nose packed down once more. It's out to Warrington. Bishop has it. Tackled by his opposite number. Stevens, Kelly. This time it's Hodson on to Dave Allen. Allen straightens up, beats two tackles, finally brought down halfway inside his own half. Once again it's Tony Hodson on to Mark Knight. Hodson back to Bishop. Bishop with the kick, left-footed, fielded by Wilf George. Comes back inside, but well tackled by Steve Peters. Stevens. Cavalier, he's got the gap, gets the ball away to Anderson. Anderson onto Whitfield. Nice flowing movement there from Halifax. Throwing the ball about. Stevens, surely that was a knock-on, and in fact a free kick to Halifax. Stevens being pushed as he tried to get the ball, so a free kick to Halifax. So Colin Whitfield will try and open the scoring. So Colin Whitfield. The ball falls over, so we'll tee it up once more. Taking his time over this one. So to try and take Halifax into the lead. Right-footed. And the first points of the game. Colin Whitfield opens the scoring. Halifax 2, Warrington 0. So first ball for Halifax. Penalty goal from Colin Whitfield. So Bishop to restart. Kicks deep. Scott takes it for Halifax in his own 25. Neil James just stopped short of his own 25. McCallion on to Stevens. Quick pass out to Cavill Hugh. Hugh looking to break the tackle, drops the ball. And a scrum down on the Halifax 25. Bishop will feed, and it's a Warrington ball. But the scrums turn round. In fact, Halifax come away with it. Paul Dixon. Halifax Stevens on to Kilroy. Kilroy, nice burst of speed. A nice pass on to Anderson, but he can't take the pass. In fact, Halifax in possession, but they lose it. Johnson now going across field. On to Ronnie Dwayne. Dwayne out to Foster. Well taken. Foster tries to go outside McCallion, but can't. Ronnie Dwayne is acting halfback on to Johnson. Johnson on to Hodson. Hodson tries to push one man off, but can't. And brought down. Paul Bishop's acting halfback, sends it left to Worrell. Worrell, nice pass out to Mark Foster, and Mark Foster now is going for the lead. He's only got the full back to beat. He's going for it, and a good tackle from Joe Kilroy as Mark Foster was going for the line. Warrington out on the attack. Bishop, Samate, nice pass into Mike Knight, but stopped short of the Halifax line. Hodson onto Bishop. Bishop looking for the gap, he's away, gets away, and Bishop's over. Try, lovely try from Paul Bishop. Saw the gap and got away from his opposite number, Gary Stevens, and Paul Bishop went over under the post for Warrington's first try. Warrington take the lead, 4 points to 2. So Paul Bishop will try and convert his own try. And left-footed, and no trouble at all. Halifax 2, Warrington 6. A try there from Paul Bishop, converted it himself. So Warrington with a very under-strength team take the lead 6-2 as Whitfield restarts. Bounces awkwardly for Ken Kelly, but he picks it up, passes it on to new boy from St Helens on loan, Kevin Meadows. Tamati. Head down, breaks in tackles, tries to get the ball away. But Warrington back in possession, Tony Hodson trying to break tackles. Mark Knight this time, on to Dave Allen. But Dave Allen brought down. Hodson's acting halfback once more. On to Ken Kelly. Ken Kelly on to Tony Worrell. Skips one tackle, gets it back to Ken Kelly. Ken Kelly tries to break the tackle, but Tony Anderson has him covered. Tamati, a long pass out. Mark Foster. Bishop with the kick into space. Wilf George puts it up for Halifax, runs forward. Well tackled though by Steve Peters. Coming across field this time, Scott Wilson clears the halfway line before he's brought down. Stevens is acting halfback, sends it left. Neil James gets it out. Wilf George. Kilroy. This time it's Jeff Robinson. Robinson gets the ball away. Once again, Halifax being able to get that ball away in the tackles. Stevens will take this one. And James drops the ball, it goes loose. And a knock on and a scrum down in midfield. Halfway inside the Warrington half. Referee stops the clock, an injury to a Halifax player. So Bishop prepares to feed. Front nose, meet once more, Bishop feeds. Warrington ball onto Johnson. Johnson looking for the gap, but can't find it. Peters, Worrell, hard tackle there on Tony Worrell by Paul Dixon. Bishop, Tamati. Tamati gets the ball away. Kelly, Mick Worrell, lovely pass on to Mark Roberts, but Mark Roberts just caught by Mick Scott. Kelly to Tamati. Tamati back inside to Tony Worrell, beats one tackle over the halfway line, finally brought down by Cavill Hugh. Sixth tackle this time for Warrington. Bishop kicks it across field. Brian Johnson's underneath it, it bounces. Peters picks it up, gets it away to Meadows. Meadows comes back inside, beats one man. Meadows, great run from Meadows, tries to get the ball away, but he's brought down, that's the turnover. Stevens, a long pass out, picked up by Dixon. Dixon with a burst of speed, gets him past one man, breaks one tackle back inside to Whitfield. Whitfield finally brought down by Ken Kelly. Stevens goes himself and brought down short of the halfway line by Mark Knight and Tony Hodson. So Halifax now moving into the Warrington half. Back inside comes Cavill Hugh. Stevens once more, long pass out, nicely taken there by Tony Anderson. Anderson though well tackled by Bishop. And Tony Worrell, sixth tackle. Goes right, Anderson. And a good kick there from Chris Anderson, the Halifax captain. Sending play deep inside the Warrington 25 and a scrum down. Bishop feeds. And the ball out on the Warrington side. Kelly looking for the gap, but brought down by his opposite number, Chris Anderson. Dave Allen. Tony Hodson's acting half-back this time. Tamati finally brought down. Once again, Hodson's acting half-back, sends it right with Bishop. Bishop onto Kelly. Kelly inside to Roberts. Roberts loses the ball. Stevens back in possession. Beats one tackle. Stevens still going. Finally brought down though. But Halifax in the Warrington 25 on the attack. This time it's Mick Scott. Mick Scott still going. In fact, it was Colin Whitfield over in that far side. This time it's Cavill Hugh. Hugh's brought down. Halifax going down the middle at the moment. Stevens though goes himself, but a nice tackle there. Tony Worrell. McCallion to Hugh. Hugh on to Kilroy. Kilroy coming across field with the kick. And Warrington in possession now. Mark Foster Mark Foster inside to Tamati. Tamati can't take the pass, and Roy Dwayne picks it up for Warrington, but that will be a knock-on. So Warrington losing possession there when Mark Foster. His pass to Tamati though was not taken. So a scrum down. As referee stops the clock. An injury to Tony Anderson, the Halifax centre. So, Gary Stevens will wait to feed as Tony Anderson gets to his feet, and Tony Anderson will come off the field to be replaced by John Crosley. So, a blow there for Halifax, the Australian centre. Tony Anderson off, Crossley on. And the scrum is fed, it's Halifax ball, on to Kilroy. Kilroy finds the gap, gets away from one tackle, finally brought down well though by Paul Bishop. Good tackle there from Bishop. But Halifax back on the attack, Stevens, Anderson. Anderson, nice chance there for Halifax as they come back inside, but they drop the ball, and Warrington back in possession. But a knock on, and that results in a scrum down. Halifax had an overlap over on that right side then, the Warrington right, but couldn't take advantage. Bishop feeds, and Warrington in possession. Well played there by Ken Kelly. Dave Allen can't get past Mick Scott. This time it's Tamati. Tamati can't get the ball away. Hodson this time. Worrell, but Worrell brought down. This time it's back to Mark Knight, but Mark Knight doesn't make any ground on Warrington. 6 tackles still camped inside their own 25. Back to Bishop. Bishop is kicked his charge down. There's a chance here for Cavill-Hugh, and Cavill-Hill, he misses the ball. Stevens goes for it and scores. I don't know what the referee is given. And he's given a penalty try, an obstruction try. He's given an obstruction try for the push on Cavill-Hugh as he went to pick the ball up. So Cavill-Hugh, as he went for that ball, was pushed, and the referee gave the penalty try, which makes the kick easier for Colin Whitfield in front of the posts. So Colin Whitfield, an easy kick in front of the posts, and he does that one easy. So the obstruction try and 2 Whitfield goals takes Halifax into an 8-6 lead. Bishop then restarts, kick deep, goes over under the foot of Dixon and into touch, and sets play up deep inside the Halifax 25 with a scrum down. Just a couple, about 10 yards away from the Halifax line. A chance here for Warrington if they can get this scrum. It'll be Bishop to feed. So Bishop to feed, a chance here for Warrington. And Warrington ball, but the referee says Warrington were handing the ball out of the scrum. Talks to Tony Hodson, and the free kick goes to Halifax. So Colin Whitfield puts the ball into touch. just inside his own 25. McCallion will take the tap. On to Dixon. Dixon clears his 25 before he's brought down by Tony Waddle. Stevens this time. A nice pass on to Jeff Robinson. That time it was Neil James who was well tackled. This time it's Stevens. Stevens onto Anderson. Anderson, and finally Mick Scott drops the ball. And a scrum down inside the Halifax half. Paul Bishop will feed for Warrington. And the referee will say that the scrum will have to pat down once more. And Warrington ball on to Kane Kelly. But a free kick. Bishop didn't retire, says referee Beaumont. And Halifax once again have another free kick. Once again Colin Whitfield will take it. Takes play onto the halfway line. Stevens. That time it was Mick Scott going through. And a free kick to Warrington. And once again Paul Bishop will come across. And left-footed. Puts the ball into touch as the rain starts to come down. Mingled in with snow. Typical day on the other side of the Pennines. This time it'll be Tamati. Makes a couple of yards before he's brought down. Hudson's acting halfback. Says it left to Dave Allen. Once again it's Tony Hodson on to Tony Worrell. Worrell head down. Makes play into the Halifax 25. Tony Hodson sends it right this time with Bishop onto Kelly. But Kelly brought down. This is immediately as he got the ball. Bishop. Tamati. Mark Knight. Mark Knight still going. 6th tackle this time. Bishop. Bishop with the chip across. Whitfield drops the ball. Ronnie Dwayne going for it. Picks it up. But a scrum down. So midway inside the Halifax 25. A scrum down. Gary Stevens to feed.
That never went.
Referee says the scrum will have to pat down once more. And it comes out on the Halifax side. Kilroy. Kilroy though well tackled though by Dave Allen. This time it's Whitfield. Whitfield sees a gap, comes across field, jinks inside, and Whitfield's going. Bishop's chasing, Whitfield's still going, gets away from Bishop, and that is going to be a try for Colin Whitfield. Straight from the play of the ball, Colin Whitfield saw the gap and just beat the attentions of Paul Bishop and went under the post for Halifax. Second try. A full, virtually 75-yard try from Colin Whitfield, straight from the play of the ball. Got past Johnson on the halfway line and just beats off the attentions of Bishop. So Colin Whitfield should have no trouble in converting his own try. Straight in front of the posts. right-footed, prepares to take this conversion attempt. No trouble. Takes the scores, Halifax 14, Warrington 6. So Paul Bishop restarts, kick deep. Mick Scott brought down shot of his own 25. Wilf George goes across field. Well tackled though by Tony Waddle. Seamus McCallion's acting halfback. This time it's Robinson, gets the ball back to Wilf George. But Wilf George can't get past Tony Hodson and Dave Allen. McCallion once more. On to Stevens. Stevens with the kick. Stopped by Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson, but brought down straight away. This time it's Peters. Clears the halfway line before he's brought down. Tammet it. But no way through at the moment. And now a bit of trouble in front of us. As Paul goes loose. And Halifax back in possession. This time it's Anderson. Anderson with a little chip through, and it's a good one. Kilroy's going for it, and Kilroy with the kick ahead. But it bounce favours. It's still Halifax in possession. Anderson kicks it back and picks it up. Warrington back in possession though. Bishop. Dave Allen, but brought down in midfield. Hodson on to Ken Kelly. Waddle inside pass to Roberts. Roberts back to Tammet, and his pass is charged down by Cavalhue. Stevens feeds, Warrington ball. Bishop goes blindside on to Johnson. Johnson gets the ball back to Dwayne. Dwayne comes back in field. And stopped by Stevens and Dixon. Hodson to Tammet. Tammet shrugs off one man. Tammet finds the break. Nice break inside to Foster. In fact, Knight takes it. Knight going for the line. Good tackle though by James, but Warrington on the attack. Allen inside to Ken Kelly, but Ken Kelly brought down by Scott Wilson. Allen's acting halfback, sends it right to Bishop. Bishop tries to get away, but pounced upon by two Halifax players. Steve Peters to Kelly. Dave Allen back to Kelly. Kelly's pass, Hodson kicks it up, and Halifax back in possession. Stevens. Kilroy drops the ball. Recovers it. That will be a scrum down. Just outside the Halifax 25. Bishop will feed. Warrington ball onto Kelly. Kelly goes left. Dummies. And finally brought down by Paul Dixon. Allen onto Worrell. Worrell brought down by Colin Whitfield. Mark Foster's acting halfback this time. Allen, Mark Knight looking for a gap, but it's closed up by Robinson. Allen once more acting halfback, on to Bishop. Bishop, back to Tony Hodson. Tammet to Bishop. Bishop onto Mark Knight. And Mark Knight is tackled by Robinson. Sixth tackle for Warrington. Bishop with the kick. Kilroy's underneath it. Nobody takes it, and Kilroy now goes across field, comes back inside. Finally brought down low by Mark Roberts. With the assistance of Dave Allen. John Crossley. Crossley. First touch of the ball for John Crossley, the substitute for Halifax. This time it's Cavill Hughes striding forward. Brought down by Tamati. Anderson, Stevens. On to Cavill Hughes. Cavill Hughes got a gap. Cavill Hughes going for the corner. Johnson's coming across, he flies it back. Anderson gets it away, and that's the try. Is it for James McCallion? He's still going, brought down short of the line by Steve Peters. Halifax on the line, straight from the play the ball. Anderson, but he stops, he loses the ball. Ken Kelly comes away with it. But Warrington lucky there, Halifax. They scored their third try as Warrington now in their own 25 tries to play the ball away. Tamati's acting half-back, goes himself. Steve Peters goes himself. Brought down low by Robinson. Dave Allen. So 5 tackles gone, Warrington's done their own 25, 6 tackle, back to Bishop. Bishop with the kick. Kilroy takes it for Halifax. Goes back inside. Nicely tackled though by Peters, and Meadows gets the ball away to Wilf George. And Wilf George is tackled into touch. And Warrington making a substitution. Ken Kelly leaving the field to be replaced by Paul Ford. So Ken Kelly getting a generous round of applause from the Halifax crowd. As a scrum pats down once more, Warrington ball, Bishop. Bishop gets away from one tackle, Bishop cuts back inside, a high tackle there by Anderson. High tackle from Chris Anderson there, the Halifax captain. So Bishop seems alright, and Paul Ford will come on and take the kick, his first touch of the ball, and puts the ball into touch. On the halfway line then, Warrington back in possession. Second part of the penalty, Hodson, Tamati. Dave Allen. So Hodson this time, Tony Waddle. But at the moment, Halifax forwards bringing Warrington down. Bishop though to Peters. Peters to Mark Knight. Mark Knight's got a gap. A long pass out to Meadows. But Meadows caught by Wilf George and put into touch. From that pass out to Meadows, but Meadows caught by Wilf George. And that's a scrum down. So the scrum pats down once more. Stevens feeds and comes out on the Halifax side. Stevens caught though by Paul Bishop. Good run there from Paul Dixon. That's Neil James. McCallion on to Scott. Scott's brought down by Hodson. And Waddle. McCallion to Stevens. Stevens sends it left to Cavill-Hugh. Hugh gets the ball away. And still Halifax moving it. Stevens goes forward. Tackled though by Steve Peters. 6th tackle this time for Halifax. Anderson. Anderson with the kick. And a good one. That will be a scrum down. Midway inside the Warrington half. Bishop feeds. Warrington ball. Dave Allen to Peters. Peters straightens up. Tamati head down, charges in. 3 Halifax players in the tackle and being pushed back. Hodson. And Hodson knocks the ball on. That'll be a scrum down. In midfield, it will be Stevens to feed. Stevens feeds and penalised for feeding. Gives Warrington the free kick. Approaching half time, Halifax leading by 14 points to 6. Bishop takes the tap onto Hodson. Hodson brought down, in fact there does go the half-time hooter. At half-time, Halifax leading by 14 points to 6. A try by Colin Whitfield and 3 goals and an obstruction try. Warrington a try from Bishop, he converted it himself. So the teams lead the field at half-time, Halifax leading by 14 points to 6. Team's back on. One change on the Warrington side. Roy Campbell has come on and Mark Roberts is off the field at half-time. Halifax, the same team that finished the first half, which sees them leading by 14 points to 6. Warrington with clean jerseys on in this second half. Halifax in possession. Stevens, dummies, lots for the gap, well tackled though by Tony Waddle. This time it's James, Neil James, second row man for Halifax. Midway inside their own half, Halifax plays it back to Whitfield. Kicks across field. Brian Johnson comes for this one. Picks it up inside his own half and tackled immediately by Colin Whitfield. This time it's Peters. Peters going across field, but just can't get away from the tackle of Cavill-Hugh. Bishop on to Dave Allen. Substitute Roy Campbell. Campbell goes straight, brought down by Paul Dixon. Bishop on to Tamati. Tamati brought down short of the halfway line. Hodson this time on to Tony Worrell. Worrell back. This time it's Bishop. Allen goes himself. 6th tackle. Campbell on to Paul Bishop. Bishop with a kick across. Bounces over and Wilf George has it. Good tackle though by Steve Peters to stop Wilf George getting away. Assisted by Paul Ford. This time it's Scott Wilson. He's brought down by Ford. Stevens. That time it was Neil James. McCallion on to Robinson. Robinson brought down by Tony Worrell. Stevens switches direction onto Cavill-Hugh. Cavill-Hugh, a great burst of speed again. Finally brought down by Dave Allen. Good tackle from Allen as Cavill-Hugh was storming through. This time it's Stevens, cross to Anderson. Anderson on to Dixon. Dixon. The pass is picked up by Ford, and that is play on. Paul Ford retrieving the ball for Warrington. This time it's Tamati. Tamati brought down by Wilf George. Bishop on to Dave Allen. Campbell. Campbell brought down by Seamus McCallion. Bishop once more. Dummies out to Peters. Peters a long pass out to Dwayne. Dwayne now he's got a burst of speed into the Halifax half, but stops. And he's brought down and in fact loses the ball. Halifax back in possession. Getting a bit dark now, haven't they? There's Halifax over on that far side. Playing the ball away. This time it's James. James barges through as the rain starts to come down once more. This time it's Robinson. Robinson, but not bad, but gets the ball away to Anderson. Anderson looking to get through the gap, but caught by Peters once more. This time it's Stevens. Stevens on to Kilroy. Kilroy with the kick through. Brian Johnson comes for it and picks the ball up. To a tackle there by Scott Wilson. Warrington then in their own 25 as the snow comes down. It's Ford. Ford clears his own 25. He's brought down by Anderson. Peters. Peters on to Bishop. Bishop. Tamati on to Campbell. Campbell did well to take that one. Bishop. And in fact offside. Against James. As in now the snow comes down. Every time you come to Throne, you seem to get 4 seasons. And we've had sun, we've had rain, now we've got snow. But Warrington have a tap with Hodson. On to Tamati. Tamati. Hodson. This time it's Dave Allen. Allen brought down by Mick Scott. Hodson to Bishop. Bishop onto Campbell. Campbell. Hodson again onto Bishop once more. Tamati. Tamati. But no way through and in fact loses the ball to Dixon. Dixon goes across field, gets the ball away to Seamus McCallion. And Halifax in possession. This time it's Stevens, did well to take it, slips. Pounced upon by Campbell. Anderson. Anderson, nice pass on to second row man Mick Scott, where he's brought down midway side the Warrington half. Anderson sends it left this time, back inside, and Wilson drops the ball. And that will be a scrum down. Midway side the Warrington half. Bishop feeds. And the ball bounces loose, and Anderson has it for Halifax. Stevens onto Wilson. Wilson looking for the gap. Well tackled over by Paul Ford. Stevens. And a break there. Well tackled though by Peters. This time it's Stevens. Stevens drinking inside. And loses the ball. This time it's Ronnie Dwayne. Comes back inside. Ronnie Dwayne. Finally brought down by Anderson. Hodson. Allen. Allen onto Peters. Peters a long pass. Ford. Ford looks for the gap. Onto Meadows. Meadows comes back inside. Brought down though by Neil James. Dave Allen. Allen dummies. Looking to get the ball away. He does. And the ball goes loose. But Warrington back in possession. Campbell has it. Bishop on to Tony Waddle. Waddle passes it out to Ronnie Dwayne. Dwayne, but he's tackled in possession. Bishop. Bishop out to Waddle. This time it's Peters. Peters to Johnson. Johnson trying to get away from Wilson onto Campbell. Campbell now, a pass out to Paul Ford. Paul Ford onto Meadows. Meadows back inside to Ford. Ford does well to take it. Moves back inside, finally brought down by Wilf George. But play coming back. Roy Campbell out on the halfway line. but play's being brought back for a forward pass earlier in the move. So that Warrington play coming to nothing. Stevens preparing to feed. And Halifax ball. This time it's out to Kilroy. Looking a dangerous man. Good tackle though again by Steve Peters, but he gets away from the tackles. And again Steve Peters having to come back with the help of Campbell to take it, but Halifax back in this possession. Whitfield being brought down there. Stevens onto Wilson. Wilson coming back inside. McCallion. Robinson, the wild man, as they call him in Australia, wild man Robinson, but not being wild today. Anderson back to Stevens. Stevens onto Cavill-Hugh. Thrown wildly back. Tony Hodgson going for it, kicks it forward. And Scott Wilson will pick it up. And Scott Wilson beats one tackle, finally brought down by Ronnie Dwayne. Whitfield going across field. On dummies, still going, finally brought down over on that far side by Mark Foster. And an injury to Colin Whitfield over on that far side. Referee stopping the clock. So play stopped for that injury over there to Colin Whitfield. Already Whitfield has scored 10 out of the Halifax 14 points. We're trying 3 goals. So Whitfield regains his feet and about to play the ball. Referee restarts the clock. Halifax taking play inside the Warrington half once more. Stevens. That time it was Mick Scott. A nice pass on to Cavill-Hugh. Throws the ball away, but Warrington back in possession. Through Dave Allen. Peters across to Tamati. Tamati goes straight inside the Halifax half. Tony Hodgson to Bishop. Allen onto Peters. Peters, a nice pass out there. But Mark Knight couldn't break the cover. Dave Allen inside to Waddle, but nobody coming up on his right hand side. Bishop out to Peters, to Hudson, to Brian Johnson. Johnson on to Dwayne, but Dwayne is brought down by Scott Wilson. Johnson. Tamati does well to take it, looks for the gap, beats one man. And it's finally brought down, in fact loses the ball. Picked up by Mark Foster, but that will be a knock on. So a slum down inside the Halifax half. Stevens feeds. And on Halifax side, Kilroy. Back inside to Crossley. Crossley though well tackled by Roy Campbell. Stevens once again. And a strong run there from James. Still going, gets it away. And a chance there, Joe Kilroy's going for the corner. Good tackle though by Brian Johnson. But Halifax now on the attack deep inside the Warrington 25. Whitfield goes himself, brought down just short. And the touch judge is on. calling over. Dave Allen. And alleged to have been stamping. And the free kick goes to Halifax. And Halifax looking to tap this one. But in fact, kicks it back into touch. Gives Halifax more room from the second part of the penalty, which McCallion will take. He takes it to Stevens. Stevens. James, but he's brought down. Stevens on to Mick Scott. Scott brought down though by Tony Worrell. Stevens goes right. Throws the ball out and Halifax with a chance and a try. Halifax with another try. It looked like the try scorer was loose forward Paul Dixon. As there was a scramble over there as that ball flew up. It looks as if Paul Dixon took that one and went over to the right of the posts for Halifax's third try of the afternoon. So Colin Whitfield preparing to take this conversion attempt. To the right of the post, and right-footed, slips as he takes it, and it goes wide. Now making the score Halifax 18, Warrington 6. Bishop restarts. This time it's Neil James. Tackle midway inside his own 25. McCallion from the play ball makes a few yards before he's brought down. Stevens gets the ball out to Whitfield. Scott looking to get the ball back, but tackle. 3 Warrington players in the tackle. Campbell, Mark Knight and Steve Peters. Play to Stevens. Stevens a long pass taken by Wilson, tackled though by Paul Ford. 6th tackle this time for Halifax. Anderson with the kick. Stopped by Meadows, but picks it up and tackled by Wolf George. Johnson, but Johnson well tackled by Dixon. Dave Allen having to go himself, looking for the gap onto Johnson, but he didn't receive the pass. Hodson, Bishop, Tamati looking for the gap, gets the ball away to Bishop, Bishop onto Worrell, and his pass goes loose and a lock on. So a knock on, and that will be a scrum down midway inside the Halifax half. Halifax 18 points, Warrington 6. Stevens pairs to feed for Halifax. Warrington ball, Bishop comes away with it, goes blindside on to Brian Johnson, but Johnson tackled by Dixon. Paul Ford got straight from the play of the ball, makes it inside the Halifax 25. Bishop's acting half-back, sends it left. Peters, a long pass out, Hodson straightens up. Brought down though by John Crossley. Worrell, Peters onto Bishop. Bishop having to change direction and loses ground. Peters once more, goes himself onto Tamati. Tamati shrugs off one man, Tamati goes for the line, but nobody coming up close to him on his left, but this is a sixth tackle. Bishop, the kick across field, and thumped clear by Joe Kilroy. So a drop out for Halifax underneath their own posts. Colin Whitfield will take it. Right-footed. Be taken this one by Mark Foster. Takes it. And moves just short of the Halifax 25. Tamati on to Bishop. Campbell. Bishop. Dave Allen onto Peters. Peters looking for the gap himself, but brought down. This time it's Dave Allen. Dave Allen brought down on the 25. Bishop. And Warrington back in possession, 6 more tackles. Allen. Chance here for Warrington. I want to pass, but Ray Dwayne takes it. Dwayne back inside to Foster, but Foster meets Colin Whitfield. Over on that far side then Warrington. This time it's Campbell coming through. Dave Tamati. But no way through at the moment for Warrington. Well, out at this play, Hodson on to Mark Knight. 6th tackle, still Warrington. Make no ground. On though to Dave Allen. Allen with the kick ahead. And picked up by Joe Kilroy. And a free kick, that will be to Halifax. Roy Campbell being called across. A substitute for Warrington. Gives Halifax the free kick. So the clock is stopped while treatment is given to the Halifax fullback Joe Kilroy. Tap. Enterprising play from Halifax, taking a tap from under their own posts. Robinson, but he's tackled by 3 Warrington players inside his own 25. And in fact, Warrington in possession. So what can Warrington do now? 6 tackles in the Halifax 25. Worrell onto Hodson. Hodson beats 1 tackle, but brought down by Stevens. Bishop. And Halifax in possession. Scott onto Wilson. First pass to Wilson George is a wild one. And that will be scrummed down as Wilson's pass goes into touch. So scrum down on the Halifax 25. Bishop will feed. And it's a Warrington ball. Bishop, Peters onto Johnson. Johnson out to Dwayne. Dwayne onto Mark Foster. Mark Foster can't take the pass. And the ball goes into touch. And that'll be another scrum down on the opposite side of the field. This time it'll be Stevens who will feed. And a free kick to Halifax. Foot's up in the scrum. So Colin Whitfield comes over. And puts the ball into touch. This time it's Robinson, but he's well tackled by Tony Worrell. And Campbell. Stevens once more. Sends direction out to Anderson. Brave effort there from Mark Knight to intercept that one. But unsuccessful, and Halifax still in possession. Scott looking for the gap, but stopped by Steve Peters. And Tony Hodson. Stevens sends it right to Cavill-Hugh. Cavill-Hill looking for the gap once more, but well tackled by Tony Worrell and Steve Peters. This time it's Stevens onto Mick Scott, but he's brought down by Dave Allen and Paul Bishop. 6 tackle this time for Halifax. On to Anderson. Anderson, slip pass out to George. George comes back inside, flip pass to Crossley. Crossley with the kick. Johnson comes for it, takes it well. Goes across field and brought down by Wolf George. And a free kick to Warrington. Offside against Wolf George. Bishop puts the ball into touch. So Warrington just outside the 25. Hodson taps it to himself, runs forward. Brought down by James and George. Tamati, head down. Bishop looking for the gap, Jinks inside, but just can't get away from Gary Stevens. Hodson, Tamati loses the ball. Recovered though by Brian Johnson. Peters, on to Bishop, to Dave Allen. Allen, he's upended by Robinson. And Warrington, midway inside their own half, it's the 6th tackle. Bishop, the little kick. Picked up by Whitfield, comes across field. Brought down though by Campbell. Anderson, this time it's Stevens. Stevenson's goes straight, looks for the gap. Brought down though by Campbell once more. James. McCallion. This time it's Robinson, but he's tackled well by Worrell and in fact loses the ball. Tony Worrell comes up with it. Tamati's acting half-back. Allen to Peters, but Anderson is quickly up on him. Bishop on to Dave Allen, cuts back inside. Tackled though by Mick Scott. Peters to Tamati. But tackled by Seamus McCallion. Hodson once more, sends it left with Bishop. Bishop with the kick. But the ball bounces into the hands of Whitfield. Whitfield on to Joe Kilroy. Kilroy, tackled by Bishop. Whitfield's acting half-back. And Kilroy stays on the floor, the referee stops the clock. And Joe Kilroy's injured once more. So Joe Kilroy gets back to his feet. He'll play the ball to McCallion. The referee restarts the clock. McCallion onto Stevens. Stevens goes right, looking for the gap, cuts back inside. Brought down low by Campbell. And once again, Paul Dixon going through. Once again from the play of the ball, Warrington slow. And good ground once more made by Dixon. Stevens with the kick through. And a chance there for Halifax. Mick Scott's going for the ball. And Peters clears it. And the referee has given a drop out as Peters cleared the ball. Bishop restarts, kicks deep, Whitfield's underneath it, takes it, comes back inside over the 25 before he's dragged back by Tony Worrell. This time it's McCallion. McCallion hands it on to Robinson. Robinson charges strong midway inside the Warrington 25. Halifax on the attack. McCallion's acting halfback. Changes direction. Cavalhue still going, gets the ball away to McCallion. McCallion goes back inside but slips as he tries to go for the line and pounced the ball by Tony Worrell. Goes right this time, Stevens, Anderson, and it's still there. It's over the line and Johnson kicks the ball clear. As Neil James tried to force his way over, so that'll be a drop out again for Warrington underneath their own posts. Paul Bishop again. John Crossley's under it and takes it. Runs straight into the Warrington 25, tries to clear one tackle, finally brought down by Campbell. McCallion this time. Anderson goes across field, back to Scott. Scott slips. McCallion to Stevens. Stevens onto John Crossley, doesn't take it. Matt Foster has it. Matt Foster's got a gap. Good tackle by Gary Stevens on his own 25. And Campbell can't take the ball. Picks it up, but a knock on against Roy Campbell. And referee stops the clock for an injury to Steve Peters. So Peters still receiving treatment as Halifax about to make a substitution. It was Steve Bond, it looks, who's coming on for Halifax. And coming off is Robinson. So Jeff Wildman Robinson getting a good round of applause from the Halifax crowd. As the scrums and Stevens feed. Dixon comes up with it. Goes across field. Tackled by Steve Peters. And a knock on. Bishop comes up with the ball, but the referee had already given a knock on, and now another injury, this time to the Halifax loose forward Paul Dixon. And also another injury to Steve Peters. Warrington, of course, used both their substitutes already. Paul Ford and Roy Campbell already on. Ken Kellett and Mark Roberts off. Got a scrum down just outside the Warrington 25 with Paul Bishop to feed. And the ball comes out of the Warrington side. Johnson dummies looking for the gap, but tackled there by his opposite number, Joe Kilroy. Dave Allen. Ronnie Wayne sat in half-back, sends it out to Bishop. Bishop on to Mark Knight. Tackled though by substitute Steve Bond. Tamati, Dave Allen. And Dave Allen immediately as he sees the ball, tackled by Seamus Owen McCallion. Bishop with the kick through. Picked up by Kilroy, but well brought down by Ford with the assistance of Kevin Meadows. Stevens. This time it's Wolf George. Tackled up by Tony Worrell. George tapped it to himself. This time brought down by Kevin Tamati. Seamus McCallion sends it left to Stevens, out to Anderson. Anderson, slip pass inside to Wilson. Wilson loses the ball and a knock on. So that will be a scrum down immediately in front of us. Referee as Halifax player lies injured on the floor, Scott Wilson. So Scott Wilson with a back injury comes back up. Referee restarts the clock and it will be a scrum down just a couple of yards inside the Halifax line and feeding against Bishop. And Halifax have the free kick. Colin Whitfield comes across and puts the ball into touch, sets Halifax up on the attack once more. McCallion will take the tap. Stevens onto Steve Bond. Bond though well tackled by Tony Worrell. McCallion's acting halfback. Onto Scott. Scott can't take the ball. Stevens picks it up, but a knock on from Mick Scott. Much to the displeasure of the Halifax supporters. But it's a scrum down midway inside the Warrington half in midfield. The front rows meet once more. Bishop feeds. Halifax have possession. Stevens onto Kilroy. Kilroy can't take it. Paul Ford has it for Warrington. Moving now to the last 5 minutes. Bishop, Campbell, and Halifax with a 12-point lead. Peters, Johnson. Johnson gets the ball away to Foster. Foster's got space, but tackled well by John Crossley. Good tackle from John Crossley there on Mark Foster, and that will be another scrum down. Just inside the Warrington half. Stevens feeds, but the scrums will have to pat down once more. Stevens feeds, Halifax ball, Anderson, Crossley. Crossley goes himself over the halfway line. Finally brought down though by Peters. This time it's Stevens onto Bond. Steve Bond. McCallion. Anderson onto Mick Scott. Mick Scott comes back inside, tries to get the ball away, but tackled by Tony Worrell. Wilf George from the play the ball, but good tackle from Mark Knight. McCallion once again onto Bond. Bond shugs one man off, gets the ball back to James. James going across field. Finally brought down though. 6th tackle for Halifax. A long pass out. Whitfield, there's a chance here. An overlap with Scott. Scott gets the ball back to James. James, a wild pass picked up by Anderson. Anderson back onto Whitfield. Whitfield is passed though. Scott Wilson. His pass, Stevens. And Tony Waddle picks it up for Warrington. Still going, good run from Tony Waddle. Tamati. And that is a penalty to Warrington. Offside. As Colin Whitfield just been announced as the man of the match for Halifax. That kick puts Warrington inside the Halifax half into the last couple of minutes. It looks like Halifax will be collecting 2 more points and stay at the top of the championship table as Tony Hodson goes in. Tamati to Bishop. Bishop to Mark Knight. Mark Knight comes back inside. Hodson sends it left with Tamati. Tamati. Long pass out. Mark Foster takes it, but immediately tackled by Colin Whitfield, and the referee is given a knock on. So the scrum is fed and Bishop comes away with the ball. A wild pass and Halifax in possession. So virtually time as Stevens on to Scott. Scott, a long pass out, a chance here for Kilroy, onside to George. George well tackled over by Ron Dwayne. This time it's Joe Kilroy. Joe Kilroy's away. Good tackle though by Tony Hodson on Joe Kilroy as Joe Kilroy is going in full flight. McCallion, and McCallion knocks on. But in fact a free kick to Halifax. Whitfield with the kick into the main stand. Stevens on to Bond. McCallion's acting halfback. On to James. James beats two tackles. Stevens, Anderson, back to Stevens. Stevens across to Cavill Hugh. Hugh, another good run from Hugh. The Australian prop forward for Halifax. Stevens back inside to Bond. Bond going forward, shrugs one man off, but an interception. Well seen there by Dave Allen. Tamati, long pass out to Bishop. Bishop, but his pass to Foster though is well forward. The forward pass and a scrum down. So scrum down, just outside the Warrington 25. Stevens feeds, Bishop has the ball, onto Johnson. Can Watson get a late try? But Johnson easily tackled by John Crossley. Peters onto Dave Allen. Dave Allen going straight, back to Peters. Peters, but nobody coming up on his right hand side. Dwayne's acting halfback. On to Dave Allen. Dave Allen to Tamati. Tamati taken by Paul Ford. Paul Ford brought down by Wilf George. Dave Allen. Allen to Tony Worrell. Worrell goes forward. Brought down by James and Bond. Bishop on to Dave Allen to Peters. Out to Johnson. Johnson with the kick through. And taken by Colin Whitfield. McCallion from the play of the ball, looking for the gap once more. Moves over the halfway line into the Warrington half. Stevens. Stevens though brought down and loses the ball. Tamati. Tackled by Joe Kilroy. Dave Allen. Sends it left to Peters. Peters. Bishop this time, over the halfway line, brought down by Neil James. Allen out to Tony Worrell. Worrell, but well tackled. And this time it will be Hodson. Hodson goes left, comes back inside, and gets the ball away. Roy Campbell picks it up. 6 more tackles for the Warrington. Hodson. This time it's Dave Allen. Allen with the kick through. Bishop's going for it. Kicks it forward. Anderson has it for Halifax. Stevens shrugs off one man, then loses the ball. Mark Knight picks it up for Warrington. Tony Worrell out to Johnson. Johnson running, Dwayne takes it on the burst. Dwayne still going, comes back inside, gets it out to Johnson. Johnson gets it back to Dwayne. Dwayne stops short. Over in that far corner. Bishop, a long pass out, and Mark Knight just can't take the pass. Will George picks it up. Well tackled though. Dave Allen. Stevens comes away with it from the play of the ball. Wolf George. So this time McCallion, acting halfback, sends it on to Scott. Scott stops short of the 25. McCallion this time sends it left. Hugh on to John Crossley. Crossley's got a gap. Crossley's away. He's going for the line. Steve Peters is going back. He cuts back inside. Johnson gets away from him. Crossley's still going on to McCallion. McCallion, but his pass charged down by Steve Peters. Well played there by Steve Peters. Ran all the way back and finally intercepted the pass from McCallion. And that will be a scrum down inside the Warrington 25. Virtually time as Stevens feeds and feeding. Free kick to Warrington. So we've had 4 minutes of injury time as Bishop puts the ball into touch, stopped by Wilf George though. And finally a scrum down. In fact, there goes the half-time hooter. 4 minutes of injury time played. Halifax getting 2 more important points. That could see them winning the championship. The final score, Halifax 18 points, Warrington 6. At half-time, Halifax were leading 14-6. Tries from Whitfield and an obstruction try from Campbell Hugh. And 2 goals from Whitfield in the first half. A try from Bishop and a goal from Bishop made the half-time 14-6. 1 score in the second half, a try from Paul Dixon. So from Thrumhall in Halifax, the final score is Halifax 18 points, Warrington 6.